Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Just going to move stuff out of the way. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is your reading for today. So let's get into it, see what we have for you today. So let's start with the runes first of all. So just put your attention into something that might be on your mind right now. What would you like to know? Is there anything that you would like the runes to tell you at this time? We have Isa. So I do feel somebody being in the moment, maybe pondering things right now, deep in thought, perhaps holding back on speaking at this time. So this might be, you're just putting things on hold right now, going into a bit of a hermit mode and introspection. And we have I was. So I do feel for some of you, forgive me if this doesn't sound right, but it's the first words that I was given, is sort of like going through an ego death. There are changes going on within you, maybe that you can't explain. And it's kind of shedding a skin, an old skin, in order to expose a new one. But it's very empowering, you know. You might not feel that right now. You might feel like you're really judging yourself at this time. But just be gentle with yourself, because you're kind of going through it right now. And we have Athala. So this could be about traits and things that you feel are within you, inherited things, you know, things that remind you of your family members. So it could be things that you recognise about yourself that come from your parents or from a family member. But I'm getting the feeling that it's things that you don't really like about yourself. So it's like shadow aspects, you know, rejected parts, that kind of thing. And something has happened, I feel, that's kind of sparked you really looking at these areas of yourself, and really wanting to be a better person. I feel like you really want to explore how you can become more aligned with a higher version of yourself. That's what I'm getting from this. And this is all part of your spiritual growth. This is all part of that. And Athala wants you to know that you have a team in spirit that are supporting you around this. They're guiding you and supporting you, and they want you to know that they are there. They're helping you through this, okay? So you are not on your own. If you do feel like you've isolated yourself from people in your life at this time, that might be the case, but you are not on your own in a spiritual sense. You have that team around you. You have those people around you. You also have this space as well, okay? Whenever I open up this video, I am opening up a space to hold for you so that you can feel that healing. Hopefully at the end of the video, you go away feeling like you learned something, feeling like you lifted something. You know, there is healing within this. So I want you to know that if you are going through it right now and you aren't feeling too great. I'm going to pick a moon card just to give us a word today. Word that could give us a little bit more information on where you are at this time, because I am getting this feeling of like flogging yourself, of not feeling great about yourself at this moment. And I have had this conversation recently with somebody about going what I call down the rabbit hole. When we go down the rabbit hole, to me, that is sort of like where we access our ego in the space of self-pity and apathy. Revisit. So you are revisiting the past right now. You're going through things, and it's almost like when somebody says to you like, oh, I didn't like the way that you did that, or I didn't like this, or you feel like I did wrong there, or I didn't take things in the way that I probably should have. It kind of spirals you down that rabbit hole of then looking at other areas and other things that you may have done, you know, where you feel like, oh, actually, this trait's been following me around in lots of different areas. And there is that saying, isn't there, that there's the one factor within any dynamic that doesn't change, and that is yourself. So if change is what you're looking for, you cannot make another person change. You have to do something within yourself, okay? So if you are revisiting the same patterns over and over again, and I feel like that's where you're at right now, is you are finding these patterns occurring in your life and they've become illuminated to you over the full moon. But now you're ready to go, do you know what? I need to look at that. You are really deeply looking at yourself at this time. And that's a positive thing. That's spiritual growth. It's just growth on many levels, you know. You are kind of like, if you look at that house on the cloud, it's like it's not even on the ground and it's not up in the higher either. It's just in the center. It's in the consciousness. And you are becoming very conscious of your traits. You're becoming very conscious of yourself, how you go about yourself and what you do through your relationships, friendships, through your daily life. And I feel like you've come up against something that you're feeling like that actually didn't feel very good. But Spirit want you to know, don't sit there and flog yourself. Don't beat yourself up and then start pulling at the roots of other things that kind of reinforce that feeling. Okay? Because it's all learning at the end of the day. You've got to take the emotion out of it and just look at it for what it is. So the ego, we can bring that into 3 different parts. You've got your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and your self-pity. And right now, you have dropped down into self-pity, I feel. I don't mean to offend anybody. I really hope I'm not offending anybody by saying that. I'm not saying this in a bad way, or that you're feeling, you know, that you shouldn't be feeling sorry for yourself. We all have to experience all 3 of those aspects of the ego in order to understand our ego, okay? But if you've come to a point where you're like, actually, I don't like that about myself, then it's kind of like choosing the path that helps you to understand it more about yourself, okay? So for instance, you may have done the right thing, do you know what I mean? You may have done something or had something happen that you don't feel you dealt with very well, but as long as you put it right, and I feel like for many of you, you did, but you're still flogging yourself for it. And that isn't going to help you to move forward. It kind of just holds you in a space. And what it does is in your subconscious, it kind of plants the seed of, I'm no good. I'm not a good person. And it actually subconsciously, so you don't even know you're doing it, it's leading you into more and more experiences that reinforce that belief. So this today, my dear, is about you figuring out those beliefs about yourself and raising them up into your consciousness so that you can see them clearly and remove them from your subconscious. So let's get into this with the tarot cards straight away. Knight of Cups. So I do feel that there's an energy here of somebody wanting to make things right, make up. This is quite a chivalrous knight. This is the direction of chivalry. It can signal romance as well. So it's kind of like wanting to have a kind of a romantic sort of energy to it. Perhaps at this time there's been a break in a connection and you want to reconnect. You're looking for connection. Or maybe this is about you looking for new romantic connections at this time, is what I'm getting from there. But if you're constantly flogging yourself, then maybe that's what's holding you back from being able to find those connections, because you don't feel worthy, perhaps. I'm getting a real sort of sad feeling, like a low feeling from the heart center at this time. Let's see. Like somebody that perhaps you've been crying, maybe you feel like you want to cry. You're going through a real healing process at this time with strength. This is about having courage, having the courage to move forward from this place. But you are going through some healing right now, you know, and like we said before, Athala is there to protect you in this transformation, because that is what you are going through with I was. You're going through an ego death into a transformation within yourself. So all of the things that you are looking for, I don't know why, I need to figure out why I get an itchy nose sometimes. I watched another reader that said it means you're on the right track, but I don't know what it really means, but I do get a really itchy nose sometimes when I'm doing these readings. So perhaps it is about being on the right track. So it's sort of, you know, you need to just give yourself a bit of a break, man, because, or woman, whatever. If you are beating yourself up over this, you're kind of refusing to change anything, because it's almost like a feeling of like, well, I can't change because this is me. But you can only really expect more of the same if you don't change it, okay? Whatever you don't change, you're choosing. Have you heard that one before? I'm coming out with all of them today, aren't I? There is a need for showing vulnerability here. There's a need for allowing your vulnerability to show. I do feel that, yeah, there's something about raising a mask, lifting a mask. Perhaps you have been masking some feelings here, and that is actually holding you back from fully healing in this process. So there is a need for that, because people can pick up on if you're hiding something back, whether they're conscious of it or not. They can feel it, they know. And you have been juggling, I feel, for a little while. You've been juggling, you know, not sure which path you want to go down, which path you want to take. But maybe now things are becoming a little bit more clear. So what else do we... I'm going to take the Ace of Wands, because that was what kind of popped out onto the top. So this is about new ideas and inspiration. Something's inspired you here, and it's kind of like lifted the fog in your mind. It's lit a flame in your brow. It's kind of illuminated for you your own intuition of like how you want things to be. And when that light switch goes on, it allows you to manifest what you want. But when we go into manifesting, right, sometimes in order to manifest something, when that light is lit, if that works, there's a need for it to burn away anything that is, say, imagine there's cobwebs all around your head, okay? You light that flame, you're going to have to burn those cobwebs away, and there might be a funny smell to that. You're going to be aware that they're there because of that happening. Doesn't mean you have to do anything about it. You have to allow it to happen. And I feel like that's exactly where you are right now, is that light has been switched on through an experience that you've had. And what you're going through now is smelling that burning smell of like something's, you know, and it can cause panic. It can cause sort of like, I don't know what's happening here. Is this the right thing to do? And it's almost like it feels as though there's an element of protection that's been taken away from you, like the comforter blanket's been pulled away. And that's where you feel vulnerable. That is where the vulnerability hits. But that is necessary for growth, okay? You have to be strong, you have to be brave, you have to allow yourself to go through this transformation and this transition. Okay. So what is this burning away at this time for you? Okay. You've had a lot of options through your life, but you've also had a lot of illusions, and you're not sure what is illusion and what isn't. And there's a fear of going forward because, and you've left a lot of things, it's almost like threads dangling that have been left unfinished. Unfinished business is what I'm getting. Because you're not sure what's illusion and what isn't. And so to protect yourself from that, you've just kind of left it, walked away from it. But it's left it hanging there. And I see somebody that's kind of going, revisiting this, then back over there, then back over there. And it's exhausting. I don't know how you're doing it. It does feel quite exhausting. I've just done a reading about the Hierophant. And this is about seeking wise counsel. You know, what are your morals? What are your... It's kind of like asking God or Goddess, whatever you speak to. It's asking for guidance at this time, asking for a higher perspective on things, okay? So this is sort of, you know, what are your values? What outcomes do you want from this? There's lessons in this and you need guidance at this time. I'm going to take that one out. You are receiving, since this light has been lit up here, there's intuitive downloads that are coming through now. You're starting to feel an intuition. Maybe the intuition came through as sort of like, something's not quite right. And maybe you've asked a question to somebody or something and you've realised like actually exactly what your intuition was telling you was correct, okay? And that might be a hard lesson to learn. It might be something very difficult pill to swallow. However, it's good for your growth, okay? It is good for your growth. This has kind of put you in a bit of a defensive energy though. It's kind of making you feel like, Not in a bad way though, because you are doing a lot of inner work at this time. I do see some of you may be going into fasting. You might be going into like a real cleansing process going on there. Some of you, the cleansing process might be in other areas as well. So that might be a cleansing in terms of like letting go of these threads that are hanging around, you know, going and sort of putting things right that you feel haven't been right. I just had a thought about something. Is it Friends where Joey has an epiphany about something and he starts ringing around all the people that he dated and things like that? And he's like, hi, is Jennifer there? And it's Jennifer's mom on the phone. It's sort of like, oh, well, I kind of need to speak to you as well. I don't know why I've got that in there, but maybe this is about dating. Maybe this is about people that you've been out with and needing to just kind of, you are being more conscious. And this is, Spirit are congratulating you with that. This is why Othala is there protecting you at this time in what you're going through. You are not going through this alone. You are not a bad person. You are not, you know, we do what we do from where we are at that point. And then as you grow, and people probably get sick of hearing me say this, if you work with me regularly, you'll hear me say this a lot. When you know better, you do better. And you are at a point now where you know, this light switch has gone on. You can't unsee this now, you know this. So you know better. So that means you are now striving to do better. And this makes you humble. This actually has humbled you. And that's not a bad thing either. Because the more humble we are, the more in control we are of that ego self, okay? The ego is part of us, it's our identity, you can't get rid of it. But it is shaped from our experiences through life, and we can live unconsciously through our ego, okay? Now, you are becoming more conscious of yourself in your world. You're becoming more aware of the impact you have on the people around you and in your world. And the Seven of Wands is kind of like highlighting that. I do feel there has been, perhaps you would normally be quite aggressive in the past, or, you know, quite defensive. Whereas now you're kind of, instead of outwardly bringing that out there and sort of shouting other people down or trying to defend yourself in that way, or have the highest opinion, that kind of thing, or be the one with the most important opinion, you're kind of bringing it back through. And again, I'm not having to go at anybody. I hope this doesn't come across as sort of like, you know, I'm telling you that there's something wrong with you, because I'm not at all. This is about you realizing and understanding what is changing within you in a very positive way, bringing you closer to divine energy, bringing you, you know, it's almost like you've been put on this path to help you to grow. And the most powerful spiritual leaders are the most humble people you could ever meet. You know, it's like, I remember my teachers telling me about going to Mongolia and seeing the shaman there, and he's like got his Adidas trousers on, like in some kind of squatty place or whatever. There's no singing bowls in the corner and incense burning over here and everything looking all sparkly and amazing. He just looked like a random person that you'd see, you know, on the market in West Brom or something. It's kind of like, you know, it doesn't have to be all spangly and things like that. It's about the inner work that we do. And you can be recognised for that through the experiences that you have and how you go about them, how much you learn from the lesson, what you did about it, because that is what basically, essentially what we are here to do, is to learn lessons, gain experiences, and then pass that information on to the next generation. That is essentially what we are doing here. I'm sure we have other things as well, but essentially that is the important path that we have. This is why we used to, you know, have people sitting around telling stories to each other. There'd be bards, wouldn't there, that would tell stories. And in those stories would be morals. Look at the Bible, for instance, you know. There are many, and mythology. Look at the Norse myths, Arthurian legends, you know. They've all got in them messages to help you to grow and become humble. So yes, that defensiveness has been there before, and maybe you're going through some conflicts right now with people in your life. You can't do anything about how somebody responds to you. You can't do anything about that. All you can do is hold healthy boundaries yourself. You can only apologise. However somebody takes that is up to them. If somebody apologises to you, again, it's up to you how you take that or what you do with that. Just because somebody has said sorry, just because somebody apologises, doesn't mean that they automatically are allowed back access to you or available to you, okay? So that is an important lesson on there. Does not mean that. How many times have you had a person in your life that is consistently saying sorry, 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 but the behaviour never changes? There's a point where you have to say to yourself, actually, you know, I'm allowing this. Fool me once, it's on you. Fool me twice, it's on me. Okay. Whoa. So we've got the Four of Cups in the reverse position. Now, I do feel you are very down about this. You're feeling quite bad about yourself at this time, which I don't like to feel that. I don't like to see that with this. There is a need here to go within, and that's why we've got the Hermit in reverse on there. So you are needing a period of introspection. That's why Easter is here. This is bringing you within yourself. Now, that's great. That's fine. But there is a point where we can go so far within that we are becoming a barrier. We're creating a barrier around ourselves. We aren't integrating back into society, that kind of thing. And that can lead to feeling depressed, melancholy. It can lead to illness, things like that. So we need to watch this energy. If you are feeling this way and you would like some counsel or you would like to do some work around this, I do offer healing and meditations and things. I'm a good listener, so if you would like to book a session with me, then please do, and we can work through these things, okay? So we have the Three of Cups on the bottom. So what you're desiring the most at this time is friendship. You want things to be peaceful with your friendships, with people around you, but you're not feeling that at this time. But that is what you want. Just saw the Lovers jump out there as well. So maybe there has been a situation between yourself and a lover or a loved one that's kind of brought this to the forefront of your mind that you want to work through. You know, there is hope though. There is definitely hope for this. I've got the Empress there, and the Empress is all about unconditional love and nurturing. I do feel the people around you, they do love you, they do care about you, and they have unconditional love for you. With unconditional love, you should be able to say how you feel, what you're thinking, and there still be love there, okay? That's what it means without condition. You may not have experienced that before. You may come from a place where you've experienced condition. So it's like, you know, you've done something to me, you've done something wrong. This person's made you feel like you're worthless because of that, and you can't undo it because they won't let you. But you have recognised a pattern of sort of like, okay, but I keep doing this. So it's kind of becoming, you know, a lifestyle pattern, pretty much. Okay, we have the King of Wands on the bottom there as well. So this is an energy of somebody who is very successful, very confident. And this is the energy I feel that you have, or how people view you in terms of like, you're very successful, you come across very confident. But sometimes there's an energy with that where it's kind of like, if you are that type of person, it can be very easy to sort of, I don't want to say think a lot of yourself, but sort of have the ability to get what you want from people. And if that is the energy that you have, it's telling me to tell you that, you know, with great power, which is what that is, comes great responsibility. I know that's off Spider-Man, isn't it? But it is true. It is true. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. When you're in a position So like with what I do for work, you know, it could be very easy to manipulate people or, you know, feed people ideas and things like that to gain power over somebody. But there's a responsibility that comes with this kind of work. And it's the same for you, you know, whatever it is that you do or however you go about things, there's a responsibility that comes with it. When you are given a gift, there's a responsibility that comes with it. And it is up to you, based on like your karma, as to how you wield that power. There was something that came to me the other day that was, I was actually in the pool and I overheard this conversation. I think it was about Donald Trump or something like that. I don't even know what the conversation was about. But I had this download about power. And what was shown to me was how if you go into a situation and you don't know your power, you don't know what energy you're working with, you don't know who you are, then you are actually going to become a slave. Without going into something with power, you become a slave. And it made me think, you know, how many times have you entered into a situation trusting from the off, or just, you know, allowing yourself to be like guided wherever, not studying your power, and you've kind of become a slave to it. That could be about relationships, jobs, friendships, family, things like that. You know, you come into it feeling like you aren't in your power, you become a slave. Yeah. 9 of Cups. There is a desire within you. There is something within you that you are desiring right now. This can sometimes relate to sensual pleasure. So this may be you're in need of some love, some nurturing, to be held, I feel, from this. It's what you're looking for, it's what you want. And I do feel for many of you, you know, this spirit is working on this for you. You need to seek that higher counsel. You need to speak to the energy that you work with, your God, your goddess, whatever it is. You need to ask them for guidance. And the Hierophant will take that to God. And, you know, if you're deemed worthy, then you will be gained access. If you're not, then you won't. But bringing something like that to the forefront and the work that you are actually doing, because you may be feeling like you're beating yourself up right now, but actually no, you're doing a lot of it inner work. You're really making a difference to yourself here. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a really, really good thing. So don't beat yourself up. Listen to that guidance. I'm going to get a final outcome on here. Okay. I'm going to put all those back. Okay, higher outcome, we've got the High Priestess. This is following your intuition, okay? This is an opportunity for you to really allow that higher guidance to come through. You can't find this information anywhere else. It's got to come from your intuition, okay? And this is an opportunity to really use that. It's a bit like having that tool that you never got to use before. Something's got destructed over there. You finally got an opportunity to use that tool. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to leave this reading here for you, but as I say, if you would like to book a healing session or you would like to book a personalised reading, then please do get in touch. Have a blessed day.